I don't know if I remember the origin, like the exact moment. Um, I know that everything was kinda gradual.
Mm,
Um, First becoming like every place that I went was a turning point for me. I don't know if people know, but I was extremely shy, right? I didn't do a whole lot of talking. I still really don't do a whole lot of talking. My
yeah.
husband does all the talking. Um, but every moment so when I left my grandfather's church, I left my grandfather's church because my grandmother died and my grandfather married within months of her passing,
Mm,
and it shifted our church.
mm.
Our church couldn't handle that transition. So, groups and families of people left the church,
Ooh,
and I was literally the only young person in the church. Literally,
wow.
the only one, and that became too much for me.
Yeah.
I was like, "I can't do this," and so I asked my grandfather if I could leave. Talked to my mom first, and then I talked to him.
Mhm.
He let me go. But when I got to Macedonia, I got so much flack. Someone literally pulled me into the car and said, "You need to go back to your grandfather. You should not do that to him. That's
Mm,
not, that's your grandfather. You're supposed to stay there." But my bishop at the time, Bishop Robinson, he got up and he told all them people off.
mm.
Yeah, this is not your place to do that. Um,
Amen.
yeah,
Go
I'm the
ahead, Bishop.
pastor.
Yeah.
You don't do that because I had to tell him, like, they told me to go back. And he was like, "No, you're not the pastor. You don't do that." But I stayed there long enough for them to the transition, the moment one transition I remember was, being in the youth dep in the youth, Sunday school class with, Polly Robinson.
Mm.
She was my teacher. That woman was so encouraging, and she would talk so fast. She talks like Thomas. Talked really, really fast, but she was encouraging, and then she would put me up to teach the class on youth Sundays, and I would be like, "I can't do that." "What do you mean teach a class on youth Sunday?" They're gonna look at me like, "That's Reese. She ain't nobody. Why she teaching us?" She would push me every youth Sunday, and you know what she would do? She would, cause I would depend on her, right? And I would ask her questions cause she's sitting there.
Mhm.
Those youth Sundays, she wouldn't come. She'd put me up there to teach the youth, class, and she wouldn't come on 5th Sundays. She depended on me to do it, and it was not like you you know, I couldn't make up any excuses. It wasn't like I could not just show up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I showed up, and I would do my very best at teaching. That was my first one, and she would push me, make sure I was there to teach the youth class on every 5th Sunday. That was the first one, and then we had a business meeting at Macedonia, and Bishop Robinson Sr., he got up and he says, "I'm making Reese the president of the youth choir. You're not gonna give me no notice? Like, this is how you're
Yo,
telling me?"
that's super old school. Like,
Ah, I'm like, "Youth? You want me to teach the youth choir?" "Yep, this is your job." And somebody already had it. That person was sitting next to me and they were bawling. I'm like, "Oh my God, I feel bad. Like, you're not gonna give it to them because they were interim at the time."
mm.
He didn't give it to him. He gave it to me. I That was scary because I was like, "I don't know if I'm equipped to do this." I can sing, but teaching is a whole 'nother thing,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
You gotta know the song,
For sure.
you gotta know the parts, and if I played, I would have had to play
And the patience,
and the patience,
'cause,
because
when you can
boogers wouldn't
sing,
show up.
when when you can sing, it's like you want you forget sometimes that everybody can't sing the way that you can sing,
Right.
and so it's like where it's like, "You wait, you can't hear that note?" Like, "Yo, this is the like,
That's yours.
the
You can't hear
yeah,
that?
what are you doing?" Like,
Everybody can't sing like you. And then people wouldn't show up.
uh,
And then, I want to teach a new song. I'm excited about this new song, and nobody's there but you and the
mhm,
organist. It would be like, man, this was discouraging, but I had to do it. He gave it to me. And that was another transition for me and another level of maturity, right? You had to know what to do.
can just a sidebar real quick. So because you said that the person that actually wanted the job was there.
They were interim.
And so what what was their, uh, like, what was their position on the whole situation after it, like, what was the aftermath
They were
of it?
mad at me too.
Uh,
I don't know if they thought we never really talked about it. I don't know if they thought that I asked for the job
mm,
or put in a request. I had no idea. I was caught off guard just like that person was,
mm,
and they were mad at me, and I went to them after the meeting was over, and I'm like, "I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know."
mm.
And they just walked off crying. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a good transition for me to
I
start
think
off.
I think, like, it's difficult, like, those situations are difficult.
Yeah,
I don't you know what I mean? Like, because, again, we're dealing with human beings, right?
yeah,
So, on one hand, like, I expect you to feel kind of a way,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Even if, like, if you don't show it, I think you know what I mean? But it's difficult a lot of times for people in church to be honest, and so,
mhm,
like, you know what I'm saying? They either gonna lie
right,
or you know what I'm saying? Or they or they just gonna treat you away.
right,
But the reason I stopped back there is because, I think that it's a good example to be able to see, um, in the way that we trust God, right? Being able
right,
to accept the things that He allows.
right,
It's difficult. It's difficult in those situations, especially when it's things that we look forward to.
right,
But it's hard to maintain like your hope or
right,
your faith or like the level of expectancy that you have in the Lord when He does such a thing.
right.
But the reality is that, it surprised you, it surprised her, but it
Yeah,
didn't surprise God.
right.
And so it's like, I feel even when I feel like I'm being done wrong, I still have to go to the Lord. You know what I mean? Like I but it's difficult
Mhm.
and it's hard to reconcile my feelings
Yeah,
because like now I'm feeling like now, because first I was mad at her because you know what I'm saying? Like because, she's person. Maybe I feel a little embarrassed as well.
mhm.
Maybe, all of those things. But then I'll turn to the Lord and I'm like, well, I'm also upset with you
Yeah.
because you set me up.
Right?
like,
You
like,
saw this
yo,
coming.
yeah, like, I didn't have a dream.
Right,
I ain't
right.
like I ain't
Just
have,
got
you know what I'm saying? Like
sideswiped.
the prophet was just here yesterday. You ain't say nothing. Like, 'cause, like you know what I mean? Like, yo, what are you doing? Like,
Right, right,
and so I think that, is difficult, but just for people, like for people to know, like these type of situations happen in church all the
they
time, and we
happen all the
really,
time.
we really don't have the tools a lot of time to be able to navigate them.
Nope,
And I think, you know what I'm saying? So like you were saying, from your point of view, it's like, yo, I didn't do anything. This is not even something I asked for or
nope,
wanted.
nope,
But like this is just what happened.
and you
And
gotta
the
be
person is
prepared for the call, whether you feel equipped or not. But he didn't say he was calling you because you're equipped. He called you because you qualified
yeah,
for the position. He saw something in you that he said, "Okay, well, I want her to do this." He didn't say you had to get ready. He didn't say you had to go to college. He didn't say you had to go through a whole lesson first. He just
yeah,
said, "I called you, so
yeah.
you just gotta answer the call."